Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. Listen, have some fun, but don't ever do, believe, or promote anything they say. They're idiots.
Guys, hold up. You should know, this ain't for everybody. Welcome to Savagely Loud. What's happening, people? Guys, welcome back to the show that understands the facts. Divided by feelings equals failure. I'm Cliff, I'm your host, and today we're going to get into how the easily offended are the most easily manipulated. We're going to get into all the ways that this happens, all the reasons this happens, and all the shit you can do to stop it. But before we get to that, guys, if you want to help me out, you can follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. You can find me on Instagram at Savagely Loud, and on Savagely Loud's page, you will find a link to the Savagely Loud podcast page on Instagram. That will inevitably be my backup, so go ahead and follow that. Also, if you're a fan of the show, follow it anyway, just because I'm going to be starting doing more show shit there. I've got a bunch of stuff that we'll get into that's kind of calming down, but you can also follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on X and Rumble and YouTube, all Savagely Loud or Savagely Loud Podcast as it is on YouTube. You can email me in questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, savagelyloud@gmail.com. And last but not least, guys, do me a solid and don't forget to like, comment, share the material, subscribe, hit the follow button, hit the notification button, share it with your friends. If you hate it, talk as much shit as you possibly can on the internet, share it out there so everybody sees that I'm a complete asshole. Do all that for me, and don't forget to rate the shows on Spotify and iTunes. So guys, now that we've gotten through that, like I said just a second ago, I've got a whole bunch of shit that is finally calming down, and I'm able to focus more intently on the show here. I'm kind of at that crossroads in life where a lot of people get, where what you thought was important isn't that important, and what you thought really didn't mean much means a whole lot. So I'm in the process of shutting down my printing business and getting rid of all of that so that I have more time to dedicate to this, because on top of the day job, I am a business owner. I do screen printing and graphic design. My wife does websites and stuff, and she's also an entrepreneur at a $1 billion a year company. She's management there. So she's closing down her shit. So we got a lot of stuff going on in the household here. But it's really feeling like we're getting to where we need to be. I feel like I'm getting to where I need to be mentally. I'm working on getting that physical train going back into some sort of positive direction, because I am a fucking food addict. I celebrate with food. I wallow in pity with food, and I do everything between with food. So when shit gets really hectic, I am a doer. I get the shit done, but I do have a tendency, just to, be clear. Like, we could talk about this shit. We're honest with each other, right? I have a tendency to dive into the snacks, the snacky cakes. Okay. So I'm working on not doing that. I'm dropping some poundage. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling like a whole big weight is being lifted off my chest with this printing shit going on, because I'll be honest with you guys. If you're a print customer of mine, I fell out of love with doing it. I'm talking about screen printing t-shirts and designing that kind of shit. I fell out of love with doing it, man. Printing shirts is the ability to have the ability is really fucking cool, but to actually have to do it all the fucking time, spending all your time just printing thousands and thousands and thousands of fucking shirts when you could be working on something you want to work on, like this show and everything attached to Savagely Loud in general. It starts wearing on your psyche. It starts wearing on your mentality, and you start getting a little bit darker. You start getting a little overwhelmed. You start getting heavy legs. You don't want to move that well, but it's all coming to an end, and I feel so good about it, because it's, so we'll get into this real quick. I started a clothing brand called Rogue Saint Clothing. That was started with a couple of friends of mine who fucking catastrophically fucked me over, and I lost all love for that company. So I closed that company after I had expelled them from the contracts for real legal reasons. And I just closed the fucking thing. And then I mulled around for a little bit. And then I got this other idea for this other clothing company. So I started that one. And that clothing company turned into, instead of being a brand, it just became a printing company. So let me tell you this. If you got this idea on going into t-shirts, I've been in this motherfucker since 2017. I know what I'm talking about. What's going to happen when you start out your t-shirt brand is you're probably going to start with not a whole lot, because that's why people get into t-shirts. It's the lowest barrier to entry. So you get into t-shirts because you can start with almost nothing. You can have a third party company print your shit for you. You can make a little bit on the top, and then you work on the sales. Inevitably, what's going to happen is you're going to figure out that you're spending a lot of fucking money having somebody else print your shit. So you're going to start wanting to print your own shit, and then you're going to start investing tens of thousands of dollars, as I have, into being able to print your own shit. Well, after you do that, or while you're doing that, most likely, you're going to need some fundage. You're going to need some coinage. You're going to need money to get more shit, either whether it's shirts to print, or it's a new flash dryer, new conveyor dryer, a printing press with more colors, more stations, whatever it might be. You're going to run into this. So you're going to say, well, fuck, I've got the press. I can start printing for other people, and that'll bring the money in. And let me tell you, it is good money. It's very good money as long as you're willing to stand there for 16 hours a day and never really get out of a fucking 10-foot box. You're just printing and printing and printing and drying and drying and drying and printing and printing and printing and drying and drying and drying while all of life is passing you by. Now, that's not to say it's not a noble endeavor. That's not to say it's not honest work. Of course it is. It's an awesome endeavor. If that's what you're into, then great. That's fantastic. But for me, that's what I was into. That's not so much what I'm into now after years and years and years of dealing with fucking customers that are amazing, and customers that are shit, and then customers that are amazing and then go to shit, and customers that are shit and then go to amazing. It's all worn me out. So I've been doing this Savagely Loud thing, been getting this thing rolling slowly over the fucking time. And now we're getting to a point where we can really hit it hard, which means I'm going to need to get that fucking video intro fixed. Yeah, I can get to that this week probably. Yeah, I'm sorry, thinking out loud like everybody does. But yeah, so the video intro will be done. Should be this week, this weekend-ish. Gear is not on the way yet. Gear is, sit tight on that, hold on. Gear is not on the way yet because I've done these rollouts, so just trust me when I say it's not ready yet. You'll be the first to know when it is ready. But guys, we've gotten through all that, okay? So let's get to the fucking meat and potatoes. Let's get to the shit talking part of this fucking episode, because guys, I don't think I'm alone in this. You can chime in if you'd like, but I'm really fucking tired of seeing somebody in every direction that I look in that is fucking offended by everything. Absolutely fucking offended by everything. I'm so fucking tired of seeing these motherfuckers. So we got to break this down so that if you are one, you stop being one. And if you are at risk of becoming one, you don't. So let's get into this shit, because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Everywhere you go, somebody is easily offended. And here's the fucking key to knowing. This is the thing you need to know. The key to life is, if you're easily offended, you're easily manipulated. Now, I've had this conversation probably 1,000 times, and people don't like to understand that. They don't like to acknowledge that, and they definitely don't like to accept that, because why? Like we always talk about, everybody's always special. It's different because it's me. It's okay because it's me. No, you're no different. You're no more unique than the other motherfucker down the street that thinks the same shit. If you're easily offended, you are, in fact, inarguably, easily manipulated. And being easily manipulated is why we look around and we see the world just absolutely fucked from every direction, on every level, everywhere we turn, everything we see. It just seems like it's got a layer of fucked all over it, doesn't it? Like somebody just blew their fuckwad all over everything you see. And the reason this happens is because of, like I said, people that are easily offended. Now, the powers that be, I call them our owners, like George Carlin. George Carlin says, your owners. Well, we do have owners. I understand that that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. And a lot of people are going to want to pull oh, you can't say that around me because my people were slaves. Well, so are mine. Mine were the first. Shut the fuck up. But people are so easily offended that it's incredibly easy and effective to have our owners use that against us. They know they'll get us fired up. They know that once we're fired up, we're going to take to the airwaves or take to our families' ears or friends' ears. We're going to do something to get somebody else fired up too. We're either going to send something out, put a post up that gets people on board with us, gets them all ramped up, amped up, and fucking ready to fight, or we're gonna fucking put a post out that gets the other side of things that believe the things that we don't believe. We're gonna send a post out to get those motherfuckers riled up, and it's gonna cause a big fucking ruckus. And that, you have to understand, is not an uncommon occurrence. You have to understand, think about this. How many times in your life, even to right now, when you're listening to this, have you been in an argument based on ideologies, based on theories, based on something that you think or believe or feel that somebody else disagrees with? How many times have you been in an argument because they got offended, right? You said something like, let's bring up immigration because that's always a hot topic. You said, no, I think all the fucking immigrants, I don't give a shit what fucking color they are. If they are illegally here, they need to go the fuck home, and we're going to close the fucking book until every problem in America is fixed. Then we will worry about bringing more people into this. If you say some shit like that to somebody, inevitably you're going to run across somebody that gets super offended by it. And they want to rake you across the coals. They want to demean you and berate you and tell you all about how fucking stupid you are and explain in great detail all the ways that you don't deserve to breathe, this and that and the other fucking thing. And do you know why this is happening? The person that is so offended by that they're going to go off the rails like that. They're just going to run headlong off the bridge into the fucking shit pile that you just started for them. It's because of a lot of reasons. And the more you understand these reasons, the easier it is to deal with people. So people typically are most often easily offended because they're not doing anything with their lives. Okay. So, and I know this sounds icky, and it should, because if you kind of took that as a slight, you're probably not doing anything with your life. And let me elaborate on this. People that aren't doing anything with their life, they don't have a sense of worth. They don't have a sense of purpose. And when you don't have a sense of worth or purpose, you don't have a reason to be here, and you're not getting paid for it, so to speak, if you know what I mean. So that's going to put you in a really, really negative mindset over the course of your entire fucking life if you don't alter that or find ways to rectify that situation. And that is most people. See, most people are normal people. Most people are just your common, everyday, run-of-the-mill, average-ass Joe. They're never going to accomplish really anything, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally. They're never really going to invent anything. They're never really going to innovate anything. They're never really going to climb that corporate ladder. They're never going to be that million. They're just never going to be what they always were taught or thought that they should be. And that puts them in a fucking tizzy. That puts them in a mental fucking haze of resentment. And people will play on that. If you live in a haze of resentment because of the life you've lived, whether it was given to you, chosen for you, or you did it to yourself, if you live in a fucking haze of resentment, you're never going to be anything. You're never going to do anything. You're never going to live up to your own fucking potential, let alone not your full potential, not your half potential, not a quarter potential. You're just never going to do yourself justice living in that mindset. So it's very, very important to, as you go through life, you keep reminding yourself to move with intent. Everything you do should be with intention. Like there should be, I'm not going to do this unless I'm going to intend to do this and get this shit done to the best of my ability as fast as possible, as long as it produces a quality product. And then I'm going to move on to the next thing. You can't operate like that if you're in a haze. You just can't. So what you got to do is you got to start right there, square one, Try not to be so normal. Try not to be so average. Try not to be so everybody, because everybody out here is just that. They're struggling. They're struggling with life. They're struggling with their mentalities. They're struggling with their emotional structures. They're struggling with all sorts of shit in their life, simply because they can't get their perspective on their own life right. Okay. So that right there puts pretty much everybody into the bucket, right? And the people that own us, they know this. So all they got to do is start plucking the right strings, and everybody in the bucket's going to start freaking out. Another reason why people get really easily offended, and this is especially when it comes to immigration stuff, anything having to do with immigrants or migrants like that, they're not traveled. You see, everybody that I know that is traveled, like they've gone to all these other countries, they've lived in all these, or they've stayed in all these other cities for, more than a weekend. They've done this shit, gone these places, seen these people, met these people, talked to these people. They do not get offended when I say those motherfuckers need to stay in their own country. They don't get offended at all. However, the Karen down the street that's never left the fucking birth house she fucking grew up in, she's the one that has all the fucking opinions. She's the one that's going to tell you all about how fucking wrong you are, because she's fucking brilliant. That's the fucking person you're dealing with. When people do that shit, it's a lot of it is because they haven't been anywhere. They haven't seen anyone. They haven't talked to anyone. They don't get out of their own fucking way, let alone their own fucking house, just to talk to anybody. They fucking sit in their private little echo chamber with them and all three of their cats, and they just whisper shit to themselves until they fucking believe it, and they believe that it makes them righteous, and then they take that to the world as soon as somebody opens a door for them. These, again, it's just not nobody you want to fucking be. So you can start by not being the fucking person that is so bitter about your life. If you're bitter about your life, change your perspective and start focusing on what you should be grateful for, because there is a lot there. Or change your habits and start moving. Now, if you really, I'm going to blow your fucking mind right now. If you really want to get your life looking like something to be fucking proud of, do both of those things. Do both of those things at the same time. Change your fucking habits so that you can get on a physical fucking track to the fucking place you need to be. And also change your perspective and concentrate on gratitude, because gratitude puts you in a way different wavelength, energy speaking. You just emit a different energy and good shit comes to you. But just whatever you do, don't just sit and wallow in your self-pity over a life, whether it was given to you, chosen for you, or you did it to yourself. Because I think a lot of our lives are all three of those. A lot of my life, I got a lot of shit in my life. If you listen to Who is Cliff episode, go back a little bit, listen to that episode. That just touches on some shit that I've lived through. I got a lot to be bitter about. I got a lot to be resentful about. And I got a lot of shit in those categories that was done to me. It was done to me. It was done for me. It was chosen for me. It was given to me. I had no choice. But you know what? I'm not living it now. There ain't nothing about that now that I'm living. So why not be fucking grateful? Why not be fucking super excited that I got hold on, I got a fucking spider on the damn thing here. Fucking stupid spider. I don't know. If he gets on the lens, I'll fix it. But yeah, I got a whole lot of shit I could be resentful about. But there's no fucking reason for being so resentful, because it doesn't do anything positive. It doesn't move me in a better direction. It doesn't make me feel great to wake up every morning and be like, well, I don't even know why we do this. I don't even know why I get up every morning. I don't even know why I don't even know. It doesn't help me any. So just don't be that. Start focusing on the gratitude. Start changing your fucking habits. And you will fucking solve the next thing I'm about to talk about. Because another reason that a lot of people get really offended really quickly, really easily about shit you had no idea would even be offensive is because they're anxious. They're just anxious people. They got all this fucking, this energy pent up in their brain and their heart and their soul, and they don't have an outlet for it, and they just walk around with anxiety, and they're fucking twitching and shivering like a fucking chihuahua all the time. Those people are on edge. Those people are dangerous. Those people, you never know what they're going to do, what they're going to fucking, what mentality they're going to pick up today, what mental shift you're going to suffer through while they're in front of you. you don't be an anxious person. And like I said, a couple of great ways to not be such a anxious fucking shaky chihuahua all over the fucking place in your own life is to just get your shit straight. Get your fucking habits in line, get your mentality in line. And you'll stop the suffering, you'll stop the anxiety, and it'll all work itself around. Now, here's one aspect that a lot of people won't admit to. Most people won't admit to, in fact, but it does play a huge role in your level of offense, and that's your attachment issues. A lot of fucking people have attachment issues. A lot of people have something in them that needs that other person, that group, that other teammate. They need somebody in their life to know that they're not, so that they know that they're not alone all the fucking time. But that attachment issue, it will fucking attach to everything. And whether like I said, whether it's a group, it's a person, it's a job, a task, that attachment issue becomes problematic, because especially when you're talking about groups, because people inevitably want to roll into a group. People are way more scared of being left out of shit than they are of being disliked. So they want to be in a group. Well, when they get into a group, okay, think about this in your own life. If you've ever had a new friend circle, a new after school club, whatever the fuck it might be, car club, MC, whatever. You got this new group. You're just going into this new thing, and you've got what? All this hope. You've got all this excitement. You've got all this joy you're feeling because you're becoming part of something. You're not a loner anymore. You're not that lone wolf waiting out in the forest to die by yourself. You're going to be part of something. Well, that fucking attachment issue masquerades as loyalty, as real loyalty. And you got to watch that, because people will say, you've heard it, fucking ride or die, ride or die, ride or die, ride or die, ride or die. Nobody's riding and dying for nobody. Just get that out of your fucking head. But that's how extreme that attachment issue will turn itself and make you notice it. So it's going to look like, well, let's take MCs. Let's just put it out there. You're joining an MC. You're prospecting. You're fucking scared. You're nervous, but you're excited. Then you get your first then you get patched in. You get your first rock or whatever it might be, and you get super excited. Now you're in. You might not be fully in, but you're a little bit in, and that means you're gonna be fully in one day. So you start just wrapping that attachment issue around that patch. Wrap that attachment issue, wrap that fear of being alone around a patch, and then you get super excited and you get super fucking loyal. Now, this is the hill I'm going to die on. This is the group I'll die for. These are my ride or dies. And then as time goes on, you will get into a fucking headspace where you can't hear anything bad about it. You can't hear anything bad about your group. We see it a lot in politics, right? If you're a Democrat and anybody says anything bad about Democrats, you immediately jump on the offense. And likewise for Republicans. If anybody says anything bad about Republicans, you just start fucking rattling off facts that are anti-Democrat. You don't ever say, yeah, you're definitely right there. We've got a glaring issue right there that we need to take care of. No, you jump on the fucking defensive, offensive bandwagon and you start attacking people because you are fucking rattled that the thing that you now belong to might be the losing team. It might be the train that heads off the rails. So you start getting freaked out. You start fucking getting all pissed off and shit. How fucking dare they fucking talk about my goddamn organization. These motherfuckers don't know who the fuck they're talking to, what they're fucking talking about, blah, 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 blah. Right? In that moment, you have become a dangerously out of whack person mentally. When you get that wrapped up into that loyalty, when somebody just says something about your clique, says something about your club, says something about your group, says something about your party, when you get that unhinged over somebody just talking about your shit, you need to take a fucking breath. You need to take a step back and analyze what the fuck has got you, because you are being controlled right now. You are being manipulated because you're easily offended now. You have dumped all of your fucking eggs, borrowed some from your neighbor, and then dumped those all into the same basket. And that's why you can't have anybody shaking your reality, because you're fucking scared. You're anxious. You're nervous about what hearing things might do to your brain. You're fucking terrified that if somebody starts shit talking your party, your fucking club, your fucking group, your whatever, that it might get in, that you might start realizing, hey, maybe I don't like this that much either. But you can't have that, because you are solely identified by this thing now, by your attachment or your involvement or your membership into this thing. You are now fully identified by that thing, and anybody that fucks with that has to go down. That is weak. That is weakness. That is weak-mindedness. That is not grit. That's not fortitude. That is not anything that these motherfuckers out here like to call this shit. That is fucking weakness, blatant, obvious, glaring weakness in your brain. If I say something to anybody and they get even the slightest bit offended, obviously it's relation. It's in relation. If I say something like hyper offensive, I'm gonna get it. But if I start just dropping truth bombs, little truth grenades, and you get super offended, I own you. I fucking own you, and I own you in this conversation, and I own you out of this conversation, because I now know the exact level of your character. I know the exact level of your dedication to your theories, your ideologies, your thoughts, your feelings. I know exactly how you perceive the world and your own life, and I fucking own you now. That's the way everybody fucking looks at you. If you're the person getting easily offended just because somebody talks some shit about your club, talks some shit about your political party, talks some shit about your sexuality, talks some shit about anything. That's what you're doing. You're showing everybody exactly. You're putting a neon sign on it. This is how you fucking control me the easiest. All you gotta do is say some really fucking kind of run-of-the-mill mediocre shit, and I promise you I will flip out, and then I won't be able to process any thoughts. I won't be able to see clearly. I won't be able to think clearly. I won't be able to act rationally, because I'm gonna be so controlled by what you fucking did to me that I will fucking be my own demise. That's what you are. That when you're the person that's so easily fucking offended, you're easily manipulated, and you are your own demise. You're your own greatest threat. Nobody out here is a threat to you. You are the only threat to yourself when you are that fucking person, because you're insecure. Something about you is got such a hold on your balls or your ovaries if you're a chick. Something's got such a hold on you that you're just so insecure about that you judge everything around you based on who can see or feel that, who knows about that thing. Well, let me fucking tell you guys, just to help you out here. Everything that you're insecure about, whether it's your body, whether it's your mentality, your perspectives, your emotions, whether it's your feelings, whether it's your relationship with your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your whatever, maybe your kids, whether it's everything and anything in your life that you are insecure about, that you think is really well hidden, has a neon sign on it, and everybody can fucking see it. And it all revolves around how you act. And if you act like the person that's so offended by everything, everybody fucking owns you. It's ruling over your sorry ass in a conversation is really fucking easy when I know all the buttons to push, and those buttons are the simplest ones on earth. Democrats bad, Republicans bad, black people bad, white people bad. I know how to push all your fucking buttons. They're the easiest fucking buttons on and you think you're gonna march through life and become something? No. Surely, you're not so narcissistic to believe that you can hold all this resentment, all these insecurities revolving yourself, your own life, the conduct that the way you conduct yourself inside your life and your world. There's no way you could be so narcissistic to believe that that's all okay and you're going to be just fine as long as blah, blah, blah happens. That's another fucking reason. Narcissism, I don't really give a shit about the word. I'm a narcissist. I don't give a fuck. If I've earned the credit, I want the fucking credit. I don't give a fuck. Give me the fucking credit. And everybody should be that way. You know, that's how all these fucking inventions got stolen from people, because everybody just spinelessly walked away like, oh, yeah, I guess he took it. I don't have nothing I can do. Oh, there's some things you can do. You can get a little narcissistic. You take your fucking pride back. But that's another fucking thing that you just don't want to be fully into. You want to get a little taste of the narcissism. You want to have a little taste in your mouth at all times, just enough to keep you having a sharp tongue. But you don't want much more of that. You don't want much more of that. Unless you've kind of completely and totally fucking earned it, in which case you wouldn't be that, because people that have completely and totally fucking earned the spotlight, so to speak, they don't really give a shit. Like, they just do the thing and the spotlight finds them. So don't be that either. But here's the thing that I think, the aspect of us all, that I think the powers that be truly play against us the worst. And it's something that we all, like I said, all of us succumb to every single fucking day at one point or another. We all succumb to this one fucking thing. And that's our desire for attention. Every single last person, I don't care who you are, how introverted you say you are. There is a point in every damn day of your life where you want just a little bit of attention. You start thinking about how to get just a little bit of attention. You might think of a random question to go ask somebody at work, coworker, hoping it might start up a conversation that you kind of steer. You might find yourself in all sorts of situations. But you want a little bit of attention, just a little bit. Well, everybody that owns us knows we all want that attention. We all want attention. Some of us to greater degrees than others, but we all want the attention. So what do they do? How would they play? If you were on that end of things and you wanted to fuck up society, knowing that everybody wanted attention, how would you do it? How would you figure out how to really fuck with society? Just based on the fact that they all want attention. Everybody wants attention. If it was up to me, I would start giving the attention to the people that, or to the majority of people that I can't say majority, but I would say majority of groups or demographics or segments of society that the mainstream ones don't necessarily either like, agree with, appreciate, that kind of shit. So like a simple one here in America would be, there's a lot of problems for American citizens with taxes and inflation and prices on that shit. If I wanted to fuck up society, I would put on every news station some shit about Mexicans. I would put on every news station some shit about illegal immigrants. If I wanted to fuck this country up even worse, I would fucking totally fill every single last airwave I had opportunity to fill with a bunch of shit about Mexicans, bunch of shit about immigration, bunch of shit about illegals, bunch of shit about people that the majority of the citizens here don't appreciate. Because when it comes to immigration, we, the fucking citizens of this country, do not appreciate illegal immigration at fucking all. The people signing the checks love it because they get to write bigger checks to themselves because they just exploit fucking border crossers and fucking pay them like shit and don't give them benefits while they just piss down the fucking backs of every citizen in this country. But we'll get into that eventually one day. But that's how you do it. Like that's how I would do it. I would just give all the attention to the people that I should be giving the attention to don't like. It's pretty simple. And in doing so, if I did that, if I made all my airwaves full of illegal immigration shit, Mexican protests, I would fucking pack them full of videos, Mexicans telling everybody to fuck off and how they're going to take over the country and how this is stolen land. I would pack the fucking airwaves with that shit because not only would that get the fucking citizenry of the United States rattled, not only would that get them fucking fired up, but it would make them start thinking about other shit to get mad about. So it would start out as fuck these illegal immigrants. And then it would go to fuck these illegal immigrants taking our fucking jobs. And then it would go to taking our fucking jobs and soaking up money from our hospitals. And then it would soaking up our fucking tax dollars for their fucking link cards and their WIC cards and their EBT bullshit. And then it would just transition. It would just stack on facts. The more you got into it, the more facts that would just pile on this fucking just heap of rubble. Next thing you know, you're in the exact spot they want you. They, the air quotes, proverbial, they, the elites, the controllers of the world, the owners of the people, you're where they want you now. You're not thinking clearly. You're not even talking rationally. You're not acting right. You know, they want you, because then the longer you keep doing that, the more you build that in that reaction. You build that constant that constant feeling of anxiety, of resentment, of anger, and all this other shit. You actually program that into your central nervous system, and then you continue to live on that way, even when you feel like you're good, even when you feel like you're not freaking out, you feel like you're pretty fucking level. You're still living in the fucking in the haze. You're still living in the tizzy. You got to get the fuck out of that. But they know you won't get the fuck out of that because you're not dedicated enough to not being a part of their system, to not be a part of their system. So you're going to continue living that way. If you don't want to be a part of the fucking system, it's all right here. Just don't be a total fucking douchebag to yourself about the life you've gotten. Don't be a complete and total fucking asshole to yourself about the decisions you've made. Own them, acknowledge them, embrace them, figure out what you can learn from them, and march forward. Turn yourself into something that the system can't control. If the system can't control you, the system fails. If the system can't control you and control your wife or your husband and your dad and your son, and if they can't control, they're failing over and over and over again. So the more people that get their shit straight, get their perspective on their life right, get their habits right, get their responsibilities and their accomplishments stacking, the more you do right by yourself, the less the system controls you, and the less you take part in the fucking bullshit. And the less you take part in the bullshit, the less bullshit there is to take part in, because it's a chain reaction. If you're reacting this way, then somebody else is reacting this way. And that's going to happen over and over and over and over and over again. Guys, there's so many fucking facets, to being easily offended and being easily manipulated, that you really got to take time and think about this thing. It's not just one of these things that just kind of comes and goes. You sweep it under the bridge. You don't think about it, but a couple minutes here and there. Like, you got to process this shit, because if you truly want to be part of the breaking of the system that is killing every single fucking human that's alive, no matter where you at, it's going to take some lifestyle choices. It's going to take a lot of fucking internal thinking. It's going to take a lot of introspective thought patterns and a lot of looking around in corners of your brain that you have actively stayed away from. So when you decide you want to break the system or break yourself out of the system, no, it's going to be some fucking work. But that work that you're looking at, that seemingly insurmountable amount of labor, when you decide to break away from the system that you're looking at, that wall of bullshit, that is the work that nobody else is willing to do. That is the work that if anybody else was willing to do, or if everybody else was willing to do, none of it would ever need to get done. Because nobody would be in a mindset where they're going to be fighting and getting rowdy and yammering at people on the fucking internet about shit they really honestly don't know either, Because that's another aspect of this whole thing. If somebody says something that pisses you off, we'll do the immigration thing again. Fuck immigration. Immigration's bad. Get rid of it. Then you get offended. It's probably because you don't know a whole lot about immigration, right? It's probably because you're not well informed on the immigration topic. So you want to look smart, because that's who we are at heart. We are people. We have narcissism built in. We have egos built in, and we don't want those rattled. So we have to look and act smart. And once we start figuring out we're not fucking smart, we can't just accept it. We have to fight, and then goes nowhere. And it all comes back down to, if you don't want to play that game, then you have to do the work that other people fucking won't. I have made a fucking life out of doing the fucking work that other people won't. Most of my work has been mental. Most of my work has been healing journey. Most of my work, and I don't mean that like sponge baths and, I've got a new lavender scented bath bomb that I'm going to enjoy today with my feet up. No. No, it's working through the fucking processes. It's fucking going from absolutely fucking pissed off to down on your knees crying to fucking building a business just to get your mind off it, and then having that business or being in business throw you back in there and making you process. Like, I've done all this shit. And on top of that, while I was doing all that, I'm an awarded car builder. If you ever fucking want to fucking look up some of my shit, all you got to do is just look up two-door 68 Dodge Charger. Or 68 Dodge Charger Roadster. You're going to find a blue Charger, 68 Charger with no roof on it. Yeah, that's me. I built that shit. Brent Jarvis, maxed out Corvette. Look at that. That's me. Fucking his road race car. That's me. I got a lot of fucking cars that I fucking built. I got a lot of fucking cars that I've been awarded for too. So that is part of the habit thing, right? So I got the mental going, right? I've done the mental, or I was doing the mental. I'm always doing the mental. Let's face it. This isn't a fucking game you get to quit. The mentality is not a thing you just get and then get to stop. So I'm working on the mental, and in the process, I do the habits. I gain a skill. I get awarded for that skill. I make money doing that skill. And I start focusing on gratitude and how grateful I am to have this skill, support my family, blah, 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 blah. It's a chain reaction, and it's very, very simple. You just got to start at not being offended. That's all you got to do. Now to caveat this, there are going to be times where you are absolutely 100% justified in being offended. Absolutely and arguably 100% justified in being offended. But here's my gauge, okay? For my offense level, right? I immediately, like everybody's going to tell you, I immediately look at who's fucking telling me. I look at the life that they're living. I look at the habits they have. I look at the mentality they have, the perspective they have. I look at everything about this and judge if it's even worth thinking about, because they might not be. And if it is worth thinking about, then I start judging how offended I'm going to get. Am I offended enough to punch this motherfucker in the face right now and risk either catching a charge, losing a friend or a family member, or, going to prison? Am I willing to do this? Well, if I'm not willing to do that, then let's dial this back and think about this until we get to a situation, a point in that process where I'm comfortable with the level of offense and the reason I'm that offended, okay? That's my thing. If you come up and you start spitting all your fucking rhetoric at me, I might get fired up right out of the gate, but I'm going to quickly talk myself down from that. Because if I'm not willing to hit you in the face and catch a charge over your ass, I'm probably just going to keep on marching and think that you're not much to me. You're not much to be really fucking fretting about. So I'll just move on my day. So maybe that's something that you could do in your own life. Somebody comes up and you're finding yourself offended. Ask yourself if you punch them in the face and catch a charge, and if you wouldn't, walk it back. Walk it back until you're at a level that a level of offendedness that you understand, that you can accept, you can live with, and you don't catch a charge over. It's pretty simple. Guys, if we all did things like this, simply altering our own life, our own perspective, our own mindset, our own habits, if we all did this shit, the world would change fucking immediately. I mean fucking immediately. And we're talking changes across the map, across the board. We're talking changes in people's religious fucking views and their conversations regarding such. We're talking race. We're talking culture. We're talking creed. We're talking gender. We're talking sexuality, sexual orientation, sexual identity. We're talking everything would change immediately if people would stop being so offended. And to stop being so offended, people got to start getting their fucking shit straight. Because let's face it, if you are offended by everything, you're going to have to one day come to the conclusion that you are easily manipulated and that you've spent most of your life, in fact, being manipulated. You've spent most of your life feeling how somebody else wanted you to feel. feeling how somebody else needed you to feel, thinking things that somebody else needed you to think so that you could go conduct yourselves in ways that they needed you to conduct yourselves in, because it's all a fucking plan. It's all a control plan. The more pissed off they get the populace, the easier we are to control. If blacks, whites, Mexicans, and fucking Asians and everybody banded together, they couldn't control us. If all the fucking gays and the straights and the lesbians and the fucking and the queers and the trans, everybody got together, they couldn't fucking control us. So they need us divided, and they keep us divided by playing our own human nature against us. Our own human nature is being offended by shit. Our own human nature is egotistical. It's getting offended when somebody says that you're not quite as badass as you fucking thought you were. So again, is this you? I mean, are you easily offended by things? Are you easy to push to the point where you're ready to swing on somebody? Are you easy to push to the point? Like, do you see a video where somebody talks some shit about Republicans and then that ruins your day? Or Democrats and that ruins your day? Or immigrants and that ruins your day? Or blacks or whites or fucking whoever's and that ruins your day? Then you need to fucking listen to this shit and practice this shit over and over and over again until it becomes second nature and you break yourself out of the fucking cycle of control well, not the rest of us. I really want to say the rest of it. I really want to say the rest of us have, but we haven't. We just fucking haven't. This show's all about reality and truth, and we just as people have this seemingly genuinely deep down need to be offended by shit. So break yourself out of the fucking cycle. The whole world changes when you stop being offended by everything that fucking you don't agree with. And that changes when you decide it's going to fucking change. So without further ado, now that we've gotten through that, we've touched on all of that shit, just kind of breezed through a lot of the shit and the simplest ways that we can fucking change this shit, this whole power structure of control and keeping the people down. Now that we've gotten through all that, you know what time it is. It's time for Hopelessly Human. It's just a segment I do every single show just to pull us back up, let us know that there's some good in the world so that we march on beyond our day, our evening, or whatever we're doing right at this current moment with a smile. But before we get to that, you can follow me on Instagram at Savagely Loud, the Savagely Loud page. On that page, you'll find a link to the Savagely Loud podcast page. You will also find a link tree. I keep forgetting to mention this. You will find a link tree on the Savagely Loud page on Instagram with all of my links on that. My Facebook, my X, my Rumble, my YouTube, all of it. You can email me in, savagelyloud@gmail.com. Like, comment, share, subscribe, rate the shows. Please, guys, don't forget to rate the show. Give me a good rating, man. It doesn't kill you. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't fuck your day up to take an extra half second to just push that little button. So do that for me. Do me a solid. Love you guys. And now, without further ado, again, I guess we had further ado, but without further ado.
People can be really rough. They can be quite tough. They can get in the way, but at the end of the day, some aren't only stupid, some are hopelessly human.
All right, for Hopelessly Human, let's pick ourselves back up. This story is called 21 Apples from Max. It's a shorter one, but it's a good one. When my grandson, Max, told his mother, Andrea, to donate any check she would give him for his 21st birthday, Andrea got an idea. She handed Max's brother, Charlie, a video camera. Then she took out 21 $10 bills from the bank and bought 21 apples at the supermarket. When they spotted a homeless man, Andrea told him, "Today is my son Max's 21st birthday, and he asked me to give a gift to someone to help him celebrate." She handed the man a $10 bill and an apple, and the man smiled into the camera and announced, "Happy birthday, Max." Soon they passed out their booty to men and women waiting in a line at a soup kitchen. In a unified chorus, they all wished Max happy birthday. At a pizza parlor, Andrea left $50 and told the owners to feed the hungry. "Happy birthday, Max," they shouted. With one last $10 bill and an apple, they stopped at Andrea's sister's office. Unable to contain her laughter or her tears, she bellowed into the camera, "Happy birthday, Max." And that story was written by Dr. Donald Stoltz out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Happy birthday, Max. That's the end of the fucking show.